What's going on YouTube? I am Hot Mess Ness MUA, otherwise known as Vanessa, and I have seen so many tutorials and reviews. This is not a review, this is not, because I have not even opened this thing yet. I'm actually kind of afraid to open it. I'm afraid of a palette, but I've seen everything. I've seen Jeffrey, I've seen Alyssa, whatever her name is. I've seen Red, Temptalia, hers was a good one. I mean, I've just seen everybody talk about this palette. Melanie, go to your room. May. Obviously, my children are home, but I've got to get ready for work. Let's see, are my comments on? Somebody want to say something so I know? Show my comments. There we go. So today, let's fix the camera. I'm on my son's iPad. I am going to just pop these on. It won't say, it says show live chat. Somebody leave me a chat, a message or something, and then I can know if I can read your things. Maybe because I'm on my son's, I keep pushing show live and it won't. Ryan, why won't this show my live? Oh, I hate technology. It makes me so angry. Oh, there we go. Hi, Holly. So I'm going to dive into the Subculture palette. The dog is wanting to come in. I have to let the dog in. Give me a moment. Here we go. Come on, let's go. YouTube is waiting. So for the purpose of this video, because I've read so much and seen so much that I cannot unsee, I have taken a couple notes, if you will, on this palette. I am going to use a really smooth primer. I'm going to set my lids with powder first and see if we can get a decent look out of this or if we will be returning. There's only ever been one palette I've ever returned in the time that I've bought makeup. Only one. And the only palette I ever returned was the original Tartelette palette. I know. But I had come from a place of Urban Decay and a lot of other palettes, and I could not get any color payoff. I was like digging in and brushing, and you know, I look back now and I didn't have very good tools back then. So I might change my mind if I repurchased it now. This would be incredible if I returned this, because I am a huge, huge fan of Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. They are my favorite palettes of all time, even the older ones. And I know that the quality has definitely stepped up over time, but even the older ones were still my favorite. I love the formula. So the kickback and all of those things don't bother me. I have a lot of Lorac Mega Pro palettes. They kick back a ton. I mean, like, your whole palette is covered in dust when you're done. So when I was seeing that, I was like, what are these people complaining about? But the one thing I do understand and recognize is when a shadow is so pigmented that it oxidizes and then you can't blend it, because I have an indie brand that makes the most pigmented eyeshadows I've ever seen. Hands down, swipe, like, whoa. But when I blend them, they get stuck. And then you get that line right here, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know how to do makeup. Now, the one thing that's gonna change a little bit in my application is because I have eyelash extensions, I can't like do some of the things I used to do, so I have adjusted my technique with that. And then also to make things fair, I am only using my higher end brushes. The reviews that I read said a lot of natural hair brushes are better than synthetic, so I'll be breaking out some Wayne Goss, Hakuhodo. I have Makeup Geek, but those are also synthetic, and MAC and Chikuhodo, Hakuhodo. So those are the brushes I'll be sticking with. So to start off, if you haven't seen it already, I'm sure you have, this is the Subculture palette. I live, breathe, die for these kind of colors. They're different, they're fun. It's not the same old neutral palette. So I know some people were like, I don't want that. I have the Modern Renaissance. I'm sorry, but if I see another warm tone palette, I could just die. So I'm not gonna do swatches. You guys have seen swatches, I'm sure. But I'm just going to do kind of a palette play. I'm gonna be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus what is this stuff called? Photo Focus eye primer. And I don't know, this is a detail brush from Morphe, but I just don't want to dig in with my finger right away. So I'm going to apply my primer with a brush. Usually I use my finger. I'll probably reblend this way, but initial application. And who was saying, one of the bigger YouTubers is saying that this is a dupe for another brand primer. I don't remember who. Maybe it was Jay Kissa was saying that this is a primer for something else. I like to use the MAC Painterly Paint Pot a lot back in the day, but I have found that my eyelids are changing. As I get older, they do not want to be rubbed on, and they tend to show creasing very easily. So that was another reason why I was worried about this palette, because I don't need any more problems with my lid space. So I know this part can be kind of boring, and I do apologize for that, but I thought there was something to be said for seeing someone put this on in live time, and I really wanted to put some eyeshadow on anyway. I am saving my full face for last because that was the other thing I've heard with the mucho fallout on this bad boy. Then I'm going to set the lid with some RCMA translucent powder. So that way I have a nice smooth base. I hear that that is another thing to be taken into consideration with this palette. So doing my eye primer and then a powder base first. Anybody else out there in the world interested in this palette besides me? Like, I don't have to wait for a review when it comes to this palette. First off, I usually don't look into an influencer for a palette anyway these days. I feel like so many of them, I don't want to say that they're on the payroll, but how hard would it be to talk bad about your friend? And a lot of these influencers have made friends with brands. So if they didn't know these people and it was their own money spent, I feel like they would be much harsher on these brands. And I also understand from somebody that makes YouTube videos that you want to stay within good graces. Not to say you want to kiss butt, but you get what I'm saying. So I kind of want to use like New Wave and Edge, but I think I'm going to pick up a little bit of Dawn and see if I can work that in my crease. I'm using a big Morphe, Wayne Goss 03, and I'm just going to tap it. And you can see the pigment that barely tap into the brush. I'm going to knock it off. And very, very light in the pressure. Now, if I had never seen these reviews, I don't genuinely go in that light, even if something warns that something's pigmented. But knowing what I know, I feel like this is the way you implement. It's like, oh, I have the Subculture, now what? And I don't want to return this. I want to make it work. So this is the shade Dawn. Wow, looks like you did nothing. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this shade New Wave and do a little bit lower in the crease. I'm gonna do 2 taps on that one. if you just start really small, you might be able to do something with it. But on the other note, who's got that much time when they're doing their eyeshadow? Not most people. I also happen to be using some of the world's softest brushes. These are like all gray squirrel. So I'm getting some of the orange in there now. Oh. I understand why people do sped up versions of these. How incredibly boring, right? But I'm like thinking while I'm doing this. So has anybody else out there heard of the new app called Anchor? Anchor is a new app that is for audio, but one of the YouTube video like creators that I watch, I think it's literally called YouTube Creators, they did a sponsored video talking about Anchor and how it's a new way to connect with your audiences. And I thought, why in the heck would me as a makeup person need an app like that? See, I'm not really, once it gets in the crease, then it's like it's there. I'm trying to blend upward. New wave, do what I want. Anyway, so on to Anchor. Anchor is this app that is used for creators to connect with their audience in an audio file. So you get on there and you talk and you upload it, and I think it's kind of like Snapchat or those things where it's good for 24 hours. And then, unless you want to publish it into an episode, and then it will stay permanent until you delete it. So I thought, gosh, this is a way to connect with people because they can call in and ask questions and stuff like that. See how I'm having a hard time blending this? It's like I've got orange. So I'm gonna try to use a little bit of Dawn above it. Anyway, I signed up and started my own little, I don't want to say podcast, but my first episode is up, and it's an introduction, and my little name on there is Hot Mess Ness, and I thought it would be a great way to talk to my peeps, and they can ask questions. I can throw out there like, hey, what do you want to see next on the channel, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, we'll see. If it is even remotely successful, if anybody even writes to me on it or verbalizes on it, I'll keep it going. So I use New Wave, I use Dawn. I'm gonna pick up a little Roxy with a smaller brush and try to go underneath, because I think that the way that all this works is they're all gonna oxidize. So we'll just try to put the darker shades where we want them early on. So this is Roxy, and I'm picking up a Hakahodo J5523. So I'm picking up a natural haired brush. Those are my children running amok. Melanie out. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this new app, Anchor. Melanie. It's not you, but you are facilitating the loudness. But I thought it would be fun, and then if you really like the kind of content that you can create on that, then you can make it into a podcast and actually save it to iTunes. See, I'm feeling a little bit muddy here, but I don't know. We'll hit a little bit more New Wave and see if we can make it more orange here. Go a little bit above. I don't know, Wayne Goss might not even be able to save this. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not Anastasia levels here. See, I'm not able to get a whole lot of blend going on. Let's see, I'm gonna take a Wayne Goss 04. This is my favorite because you can go at an angle or you can twist it like this and try to blend it this way. I just think that these might just be entirely too pigmented. Or if you are actually a beginner and you only like to use like 1, 2, 3 shades at a time, you might actually like this because you can go in and just do crease, outer V, lid shade and be set. But I think the problem is when you start mixing. Okay, I'm gonna take just New Wave and just try to lay it in the inner part right here. So what else have I done recently? I filmed another portion of my collection, my eyeshadow. Meilani, get the, okay, that's not yours. I said go to your room. Take your sister with you. Go. Go now. Go now. Take your sister with you. I cannot wait for school to go back into session. I usually love when they're out of school, and this time not so much. So yeah, I filmed the palette collection, the Indies, part 1 of that. I did my brow little tester with Benefit. That I put up on my channel today. And I plan to do a giveaway. I'm gonna give away some Luxie shadows and a Davina Cosmetics palette, and there's a couple Makeup Geek ones. All right, so now we are going to take, I don't know, what should we go with? Should we go with Axis or Untamed? I think I'm gonna hit Untamed and do the outer part. I think as long as you keep everything separate in this look, you might be okay. Where's my little Waynes? My little Waynes. All right, for this one, we're literally going for as many little tiny eyeshadow brushes as possible. If you have little ones, break them out. Now would be the time. This is a Makeup Geek pencil brush, and I'm going to use this one in Untamed. That was probably too much. And just start with the outer V. I wonder if I should start to try to dupe this one. You know? See if we can find dupes for people already. Look at that. Let's highlight the zit. That's why I don't like to do eyeshadow or makeup without like my foundation on first. Because then everybody sees everything. We all get zits. I would definitely consider not getting lash extensions again. I love the way they look when I don't have makeup on, like I just do brows. I think it's great if you're like an all natural girl, but it's really difficult when you like to put on makeup. So now I'm gonna take a clean Wayne Goss 20 and just try to blend that. So I think if you've already gotten this palette, you already have it, you're kind of feeling like you're stuck with it, you want to make it work, as long as you have multiple little brushes and patience, or you just go in and pick up a color or two, you might be okay. But I was so excited about this palette because I am a matte eyeshadow junkie. Like that gets me excited. I know people like duochromes and color. I mean, give me matte color all day long and I'm like drooling. Because with shimmer shades, to me, what do I see when I see shimmer shades? I see a lid color. Because not very often do I put shimmers in my crease. Once in a while, I'll take a shimmer or like a satin in my crease or something like that, but not. So I'm building up a little more Untamed just in the outer V, and I'm trying not to get crazy with it. But I really wish that these shades all worked like the Modern Renaissance, because, oh, I could die into these shadows. These colors are just, I mean, is this not like Scream and Fall? Oh no, that might have been a problem. I probably went too high right there. So I'm trying just to keep this in my V and then go in and blend again. Hopefully I'm not late for work because I decided to go live with the world's most aggressive eyeshadow palette. I'm also still wanting to get the Jaclyn Hill palette. Anybody else out there already have that? Not because I need it. I definitely don't need it. I shouldn't be buying anything. I'm actually like extremely broke right now. Like really broke. Like back to school, kids are going back to school next week. Any money that is coming my way is going to go right back out. Sending 4 kids back to school, not cheap. And now I feel like an old person because I'm like, God, I wish that they had uniforms. Then I wouldn't have to buy them all new clothes, just shoes. Now I'm gonna try it because I think that that is blended okay, and kind of move it into the crease a little bit so it blends. Now, if I had not watched the reviews that I had watched, I probably would have just gone in and thought that I sucked at doing makeup, that I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a little worried about what I did up here though. Okay, now I'm gonna take this shade Destiny and try to blend right here, this little area of what I did with Untamed. Oh, darn it. Out of habit, I dabbed in twice. Oh no, too much. See, I blended out this side okay. But this side, it's too much, and I don't know that I'm gonna be able to do anything about it. So I'm gonna try to grab my good old Wayne and try to blend this. I'm gonna take some off with the finger. Can I get away with it? Yeah, I think so. I think I can get away with it. Okay, I want a little bit more of Untamed. I'm gonna try not to blend this down. What color is Axis? Axis is green and Untamed is a different kind of green. This Axis is like a blue green. Let's put a little Axis right here. And the tiny little Wayne. That's where an eyeshadow palette like this, you would think you would never hit pan, ever, 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 because it's so pigmented that you would not need very much. But if it's kicking up all the kick up, then that's wasted product, right? I might even take another orange shade that I know blends and go through in here. Let's see, we're gonna take this big Hakuhodo J5522 and see if I can get a little bit of New Wave, barely any, and a little bit of Dawn, and try to clean up right here. Yeah, it just looks like darkness. Such a bummer, man. If I just do a little bit above it, I can fake it. Oh, baby's mad. What'd you do to her? What'd you do to the baby? Are you home?
What happened?
Oh, the man's home.
On one of the tables.
She did what?
She broke it.
How'd she do that?
She had
Okay, so now I'm gonna take edge and work that onto the lid right here. I'm gonna take a flat Makeup Gate foiled shadow brush. This is really good at picking up product. So we're just gonna pick up.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, I'm live and you just said the goddamn it, I'm
sorry.
live. That's okay. I might get flagged for music anyway. I'm glad you're home and you survived the traffic.
Oh,
Hey, Daddy. Mom.
you need me to wait?
For what? You can get a drink, it's fine. He's had a bad day at work. So far, my opinion on the palette is it doesn't blend for shit.
Mom, where's the
May,
pressure?
don't talk to me right now.
Where's the pressure?
Maylani, go away.
Fix this, babe. We can do it all without getting in mommy's way. Ooh, that looks good.
Aw, the man says it looks good. One of the High Maintenance Harmony just asked if it blends any good, and if you can see, like right here, it's got that darkness, which I would expect from when I'm not taking my time. I literally spent a good 5 minutes adding more color right here. So I don't know if you can see. It's oxidation. It's when something has too much pigment. And, you know, most people,
Watch out, baby. You're gonna.
you need to go somewhere. Go somewhere. Get a bottle of water. You're not that thirsty. Go. She's been on my list today. Get out of here. Go away. My oldest daughter is just on one. I'm not going to participate in the badness that you are doing right now. I'm not going to. So, yeah, the shades individually, I was waiting to buy it. Okay, so High Maintenance Harmony just said she was waiting to buy it. And, you know, I totally get that. I just am so used to Anastasia being everything. And with the Master Palette by Mario, it was so good. I did not want it to be another situation where, like, that palette sold out and it's gone forever. Now I know this one is not going to go away, so that's a good thing. What will happen is they'll fix the problems, and anytime a palette is not limited edition, they can fix issues in production. So yeah, I definitely think that you should wait, although I don't know how you'll tell if you've gotten a good one or not. I don't think that this is beginner friendly in the way of a beginner who wants to step up their game and blend a lot of eyeshadows. I think if you are somebody who uses a crease shade, something in the outer V and something on the lid, you'll be fine. This would work. But if you're someone that wants something more detailed, you have to use good ass brushes. Barely tap it, and even then, I don't think that you can layer a bunch of shades. Like, I don't know how people are taking pictures on Instagram with these beautiful blended looks using some of these colors, because they just oxidize on you. I'm not mad at it. I still think that the colors are incredible. Thank you. That is super sweet. High Maintenance Harmony just said my eyes look good. I love you, girl. So I'm wondering if I should put Adorn on the lid or electric. Maybe I'll do both. Why not? I don't want to foil these because I'm lazy. The pigmentation on the foils are not incredible or anything. I'm using a MAC 242. This is one of the brushes that Stephanie Nicole uses to swatch with. They're okay, but you know my Luxie Beauty shadows and my Divina Cosmetics. I'm just used to those kind of shimmer shades. So I'm just gonna put this shade Electric on some of the yellow, and then I'll work into the other one. Just a lot of building here.
Looking for this. So when I pick you up and you take your shoes off in the car.
I hear the man, and it seems like he might be bitching at one of the kids.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, so, you know, that's okay. Nothing to scream or write home about. And now we're gonna take Adorn and work into here. That baby is so grumpy all the time now. I do not know what's wrong with her. She's on the verge of being 2, and she is just a monster. Like, all the time. You think I'd know by now. There's 5 of them. Oh, look, I lost my eyelash extension. I'd like to know, anyone out there that has eyelash extensions, do you still do your eye makeup? Because that was the one thing in the past where I was like, no, I'm not going to get them done because I do not want to not be able to do eye makeup. I don't know, guys. It's, you know, it's okay. I'm not loving the electric color. I want to go with Adorn all over, so I'm going to cover that up. And I'm sure if you fix plus this, it would be nice. I'm not going to do all that. I'm lazy. Okay. And that's the other thing with eyelash extensions. She said not to wear mascara, but I feel like this is not enough eyelash for this look. Let's see. Let's add on some liner. I just literally grabbed the makeup bag. I'm gonna break all the rules with this, the lash extensions. I'm gonna end up putting on mascara. Where's my eyeliner? Ah, oh, I hate when I do that. There's no eyeliner in here, so I'm gonna have to add that later. And I thought I had a spoolie in my eyelashes. There it is. I've been carrying a spoolie around. So, fix up the lashes. I'm gonna do some lower lash line stuff, but I'm gonna do that after my foundation's on. There's no reason to do all that now when I still have to add foundation. But I think that you could definitely use this palette and do your foundation first. I didn't experience that kind of fallout. Like, I don't have the palette all over my eyeballs there. So I think when it's time to do my lower lash line, I'll probably do a little bit of New Wave, Fudge, and Rowdy. So that is it That is my little preview demo, just to see how this palette worked, even though the internet has said it's complete crap. I don't think it's complete crap, but I would definitely wait. If you haven't bought it yet, I would wait. See if they repress some of the formulas, and I'm gonna have to play with it a little more and decide if I return it or not. Because if they will change it, why not have a better one, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.